What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Nail That Tone, a series that's all about helping you guys achieve some of the most legendary guitar tones of all time. In this week's episode, we're talking about the classic Scorpion record, Love at First Sting. There's so many cool stuff to talk about as always, so let's get right into it. As always with the Nail That Tone series, the first thing we're talking about is finger tone. Now for finger tone this week, I really wanted to talk about the importance of phrasing in guitar solos. If you really want to cover a solo really well and just make a really convincing cover of it, you really have to study the phrasing of the song and get it down, because the phrasing is kind of what makes the solo unique, and it's really the characteristics of kind of the guitar player and just the particular take that kind of make it kind of unique and stand out. So you definitely want to take a listen to the solo, and if you can find the isolated tracks and just try to nail the phrasing down as best as possible. You're never gonna get 100% because again, that solo is unique to that particular take, so you really just want to nail as closely as possible the just little tiny phrasing ideas, the little bends, the little like vibrato, and all those kind of little things that make the solo unique and just sound good. So you definitely want to focus on that if you're going for a convincing cover, a guitar tone that's pretty similar to what we hear on the actual record. What I'm going to show you guys right now is I'm going to go back and forth between my isolated track and the actual isolated track of this particular song, and you'll hear that they are pretty similar. So let's go ahead and listen to this example. So now we're talking about what other gear you could use to get a similar tone, because again, some of these JCM 800s and even more vintage amplifiers are obviously very expensive and not everybody can afford them. I always like to kind of categorize amps in different kind of gain stage levels. So Marshalls to me are always kind of mid-gain amplifiers. They're not super gainy, but they're not, you know, clean amps. So I would recommend using something that's kind of in the mid-gain kind of category. Obviously you can use some of the more modern Marshall stuff that's a little bit cheaper and easier to get your hands on. I think the DSL line of Marshall amplifiers is just a great place to start. Pretty cheap, around $300-400 used, and they serve as a great entry point if you're trying to get into that mid-gain kind of Marshall sound. And they are pretty good amplifiers, pretty well reviewed, and I think one of those amplifiers would perfectly suit this type of tone and would get you something very similar without having to spend thousands of dollars. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you like this video, learn something cool about this tone, consider giving it a like, comment, or consider subscribing to the channel. We release videos like these on a weekly basis, so hopefully guys, we will see you in the next video.